The trailer for Sistas Season 9, Episode 5 confirms what fans feared most. Karen is still trapped in her grief, and her silence may finally destroy the fragile bonds that remain. Betrayal, heartbreak, and secrets threaten to shatter their circle forever. This isn't just another episode, it's the breaking point. Karen's journey has always been marked by fire, strength, and survival, but in Episode 5, the weight of her grief becomes unbearable. The trailer teases her pulling further away, retreating into herself while the others try to move forward. After the devastation of loss, Karen refuses even the smallest gestures of comfort. She doesn't take calls, doesn't share meals, doesn't open her door. She sits in silence, holding on to pain that grows heavier by the day. Fans know grief can fracture the strongest of families, and here, it feels like her refusal to heal is creating a crack that could split the entire circle apart. Aaron's attempts to reach her may be rejected again, not with words, but with a cold and painful distance. Zach, torn between his own sorrow and the complicated pull of responsibility, may find himself unable to look her in the eye. The tension is unspoken, but it burns hotter with every moment of silence. Sabrina, already weighed down by betrayal and the bitterness of her last confrontation with Rich, may see Karen's withdrawal as abandonment. She once leaned on Karen for strength, but now she's left to face her own storm alone. Will she rise stronger, or will the anger at Rich push her toward reckless decisions that endanger her future? The trailer suggests a breaking point. Sabrina may finally cut ties for good, and this time not just with Rich, but with anyone who has failed her trust. Danny, trying to rebuild herself after Tony, looks to keep her focus steady, but even she is not immune to the exhaustion of carrying everyone else's pain. Fatima, hiding the truth about her pregnancy, is stretched to her limit. She stands at the edge of collapse, torn between her own secret battles and the constant pressure to hold the group together. Episode 5 hints that her secret may finally slip, unleashing consequences she's not ready to face. Andi, caught between her legal battles with Hudson and the unfinished pieces of her relationship with Robin, continues to fight in silence. Her story feels different from the others. It's not grief that chains her, but the haunting weight of choices made in courtrooms and backrooms, where trust is currency and betrayal is always near. As the trailer teases, Andi's fight is not only about justice, but about identity, about who she chooses to become when the past no longer defines her. Together, these threads form the heart of Episode 5. Karen's grief pulling her away, Sabrina's fury threatening to consume her, Fatima's secret ready to break, Andi's battles climbing higher, and Danny's fragile recovery trembling on the edge. The sisters are standing on uneven ground, and the trailer makes one thing chillingly clear. If Karen refuses to heal, the circle may never recover. Episode 5 doesn't just promise drama, it promises devastation. The cracks in the sisterhood are widening, and by Episode 5, every choice carries consequences too heavy to ignore. Karen's silence is no longer just grief. It is becoming a weapon, intentional or not, against everyone who loves her. When pain is buried so deep, it begins to poison the air around it, and that's what the trailer suggests. Each of the sisters is forced to face not only her own wounds, but also the reality that Karen may not return to the person she once was. Fans are already whispering that her refusal to connect could become the turning point that finally splits the group, leaving each woman on her own. The silence of grief becomes louder than any words could be, and the absence of Karen's voice is a shadow over everything. Sabrina's path in this episode is just as volatile. The betrayal by Rich left scars that refuse to heal, and fans believe Episode 5 will finally push her to confront him one last time. Not with whispered pain, but with a public stand that leaves no room for him to crawl back. Sabrina's strength has always come when she is cornered, and the trailer hints at her finally unleashing the words she has been holding in, cutting him off not only from her life, but from her power to wound her further. But as strong as she appears, her heart is fragile. If Rich fights back with manipulation, or if he digs into her past mistakes, she could unravel. The question is whether Sabrina will rise as a survivor, or spiral into anger so sharp it cuts the one still standing by her side. Meanwhile, Fatima's secret has grown too heavy to hide. Pregnancy is not something that can be masked forever, and her silence, much like Karen's, is starting to damage the trust between her and the others. Episode 5 might be the moment where the truth slips, not because she chooses to share, but because stress forces it into the light. Fans suspect a breakdown, a scene where Fatima's carefully built walls crumble under the pressure of balancing her own future with the constant need to be the glue for everyone else. Her strength has always been admired, but no one can carry the weight of life and loss at the same time without shattering. If her truth comes out, it will not only reshape her story, but will also stand in direct contrast to Karen's despair. Life beginning in one place, life denied in another. That balance of joy and grief could be the emotional centerpiece of episode 5. Danny's struggle is quieter, but no less important. After the exhausting back and forth with Tony, she has been trying to put herself first. But when the group fractures, she risks being pulled back into old patterns of self-sacrifice. The trailer hints at her reaching a crossroads. Does she return to toxic attachments for the illusion of comfort? Or does she finally cut free and build something better for herself? Her growth depends on making the painful choice to walk away from those who drain her, even when loneliness feels unbearable. And yet, fans know Danny has a history of masking her pain with humor and quick tempers. Will she truly stand on her own, or will she lash out, snapping at those who remind her too much of her own past mistakes? Andi, however, is walking into a storm all her own. With Hudson's threats tightening and Robin's unresolved place in her life still haunting her, she stands at the intersection of loyalty, justice, and survival. The trailer suggests her storyline may escalate beyond romance into something deeper, perhaps a case that threatens not only her career, but her freedom. For Andi, episode 5 may become the moment she realizes that every choice she makes in court is tied to her personal life, and every betrayal outside those walls bleeds into her professional battles. She cannot separate them anymore, and when a woman like Andi is pushed to that edge, the results are unpredictable. All of these storylines circle back to one unshakable truth. The bond of sisterhood is under siege. Karen's grief isolates her. Sabrina's fury isolates her. Fatima's secret isolates her. Danny's struggle isolates her. Andi's battles isolate her. What happens when 5 women who built each other up in the face of every storm suddenly stand alone, too broken to reach out? The trailer leaves fans unsettled because it does not promise unity. It promises fractures. Episode 5 may not heal anyone. Instead, it may deliver the one thing fans have dreaded all season, the unraveling of the sisterhood itself. The storm brewing in Sistas Season 9, Episode 5 is more than personal. It's generational, emotional, and deeply human. The trailer doesn't just tease drama for entertainment. It signals devastation, the kind that forces each character to face truths they've spent seasons trying to escape. Karen's collapse is the epicenter of it all. Her silence, her refusal to heal, has turned into a prison with no door, and the walls she has built are shutting everyone out. Fans expected her pain, but no one expected her to completely vanish within it. By pulling back, she risks destroying the very relationships that could save her. Aaron's devotion looks powerless against this kind of grief. Zach's empathy looks broken under the weight of his own loss. And even Fatima's patience may reach a breaking point. Karen isn't just hurting, she is unknowingly hurting those around her. And episode 5 may be the moment everyone realizes love is not enough to pull her out. Sabrina's journey in this episode stands in contrast, but echoes the same theme of isolation. Her confrontation with Rich is set to be explosive, but the aftermath may leave her lonelier than before. Betrayal has hardened her, and fans believe she may finally sever the cord that kept her tethered to pain. But cutting ties is never simple. Once the anger subsides, what remains is emptiness, and Sabrina may find herself questioning whether strength built on rage can last. The risk here is not just losing Rich, it's losing herself in the process. Episode 5 could be the tipping point where Sabrina either transforms into a woman unshakable in her independence or collapses under the loneliness of burning every bridge behind her. Her story reminds fans that healing requires more than walking away. It requires walking towards something better, and right now, it is unclear if she has that path in front of her. Fatima's storyline may carry the most shocking revelation. Fans have long speculated about her pregnancy, and the trailer teases moments of pressure too great to hide. Secrets are a fragile thing. They crack under stress, and Fatima has been balancing too much for too long. The possibility that her truth spills in episode 5 is electrifying. Imagine the contrast. Karen's grief over loss standing side by side with Fatima's quiet struggle to bring new life into the world. That emotional collision is what fans are bracing for. If her pregnancy is revealed, it will not only redefine her relationship with Zach, but also shift the entire group dynamic. The circle may not be ready to celebrate joy when one of them is drowning in sorrow. And yet, life always pushes forward, whether hearts are ready or not. Fatima's breaking point could become the catalyst for an entirely new chapter, one that forces the others to confront their own truths in ways they've been avoiding. Danny's role in this storm is smaller, but no less vital. Episode 5 hints at her standing at a crossroads, caught between her past attachments and her desire for freedom. She has always been the voice of sharp humor and unfiltered honesty, but beneath that mask lies a woman who struggles with her own worth. The temptation to fall back into old patterns is strong, and fans fear Episode 5 may test her resolve more than ever before. The danger is not Tony, not any man. It is Danny herself, and whether she can finally choose to love herself more than the comfort of someone else's arms. Her arc may not explode in Episode 5, but it simmers. A quiet tension that reminds fans that growth is rarely loud. It's the silent choices that decide who we become. Andi's battle, however, is loud and unavoidable. The trailer points to her storyline escalating into something far more dangerous. Hudson's threats aren't just whispers. They're power plays, and Andi is caught in a war that blends law with betrayal. Her unresolved history with Robin lingers like a ghost, but the larger fight is survival. And fans suspect Episode 5 could be the moment she realizes there is no separation between the courtroom and her personal life. Every betrayal bleeds into the other. The suspense comes not just from whether Andi can win, but from what she must sacrifice to survive. Will she bend the rules, risk her career, or turn her back on someone she once trusted? Her arc is a reminder that strength sometimes looks like compromise, and compromise can look dangerously close to defeat. All of these stories flow together into a single truth. The sisterhood is hanging by a thread. The trailer does not promise reunion or healing. It promises fractures so deep that fans are left questioning whether the bond can survive. Karen's silence, Sabrina's fury, Fatima's secret, Danny's hesitation, Andi's battles, each thread pulls them further apart. The suspense is not just in what happens next, but in what doesn't happen. The words not said, the comfort not given, the healing not found. Episode 5 is not about answers, it's about breaking points. Fans who once believed the sisterhood was unshakable now face a chilling question. What happens when love, loyalty, and history are no longer enough to hold them together? By the time we reach Sistas Season 9, Episode 5, the weight of unspoken words feels heavier than any confrontation. The trailer makes it clear. Silence is more dangerous than shouting, distance more destructive than conflict. Karen's withdrawal sits like a stone at the center of the group, and it's not just her own healing at stake, it's the survival of the entire sisterhood. Fans who once prayed for reconciliation now fear we are watching the slow unraveling of bonds that seemed unbreakable. Karen's refusal to heal isn't portrayed as weakness, but as a raw and frightening reality of grief. She is alive, yet not living, present, yet unreachable. And when love cannot break through that wall, even the strongest relationships begin to rot from within. Aaron's quiet devotion, Zach's conflicted compassion, Fatima's attempts to hold the pieces together, all of it risks crumbling against a silence too sharp to bear. Sabrina's arc sharpens this tension. In Episode 5, her anger threatens to ignite into something larger than herself. Rich's betrayal still burns, but the way she chooses to fight back could define her. The trailer suggests a confrontation not just behind closed doors, but one with witnesses, one that leaves her vulnerable to judgment. When a woman calls out betrayal in public, she risks more than humiliation. She risks exposing every hidden fracture within herself. Sabrina's choice to stand tall may win her strength, but it may also leave her standing alone. That loneliness could drive her toward decisions she isn't ready for, ones that may pull her further from the circle she once leaned on. It's suspense born not from what she says to Rich, but from what her fury costs her afterward. Fans are holding their breath, knowing Sabrina may walk away stronger, but also knowing strength often comes with scars. Fatima's secret presses closer to eruption. For weeks she has carried her pregnancy like a weight too heavy for one person, and the trailer teases cracks in her composure. Her exhaustion, her silence, her forced strength, these are not things that can last forever. Episode 5 feels like the moment her truth bursts into the open. And when it does, it won't be neat, controlled, or celebratory. It will be raw, messy, and terrifying. The contrast between her carrying new life and Karen drowning in loss is almost unbearable. Fans fear that her revelation may not bring comfort, but rather division. How do you celebrate a child when another mother cannot bear to touch hers? Fatima's truth will not just reshape her story with Zach, it will ripple into the group, forcing everyone to confront the painful truth that life and death, joy and grief can exist side by side. The emotional weight of that revelation could fracture the sisterhood in ways no betrayal ever could. Dani stands as the quiet observer in this chaos, but episode 5 threatens to pull her deeper into her own battle. She has been trying to rebuild, to cut ties with toxic patterns. But when the group begins to splinter, she is left with the temptation of escape. Loneliness drives dangerous decisions, and fans wonder if Dani will seek comfort in the wrong places. Her struggle is not as loud as the others, but it is no less perilous. Her silence, her exhaustion, her longing for something real, these are the quiet storms that break people in ways louder battles cannot. Episode 5 could either see her rise into new strength or fall back into the shadows of old habits. The suspense lies in not knowing which choice she'll make, because Dani's pain often hides behind humor and fire, and no one sees her collapse until it's already happened. Andi's war is exploding on another front entirely. With Hudson tightening his grip and Robin's unresolved presence haunting her, Andi's storyline threatens to push her into dangerous territory. Episode 5 may show her facing a moral crossroad, fight by the rules and risk losing everything, or bend until she breaks. Fans speculate that Hudson's influence will not stop at threats, but may bleed into her personal relationships, forcing her to question every loyalty. Andi has always been a fighter, but this time, the battle is not just about winning, it's about surviving the cost of victory. The trailer whispers of betrayal lurking in the shadows, of allies who may not be allies at all. For Andi, episode 5 could become the defining moment where she either proves herself unshakable or finds herself trapped in a game she cannot win. Together, these threads form a tapestry of devastation. Karen's silence, Sabrina's fury, Fatima's secret, Dani's hesitation, Andi's war, they are no longer walking side by side. They are drifting. And the trailer does not promise reunion. It promises separation. Episode 5 feels less like a continuation and more like a breaking point. The place where bonds forged in fire begin to turn to ash. The suspense is unbearable because fans know the truth. The end of the sisterhood does not come with an explosion. It comes with silence. A silence too sharp, too heavy, and too permanent to heal. The truth about Sistas Season 9 Episode 5 is that it doesn't look like a story of healing. It looks like a story of unraveling. The trailer leaves fans with a chilling sense that the sisterhood we've trusted to withstand every storm may finally be at its breaking point. Karen's grief is no longer just her burden. It has become a shadow over everyone. Each time she turns away, each time she refuses to heal, the silence spreads like a crack through glass. Zach feels it, Aaron feels it, Fatima feels it, and so do the sisters who once believed Karen would always come back to them. Love cannot penetrate a wall this high, and the haunting question is whether Karen even wants to be reached. Episode 5 might be the moment where fans are forced to accept that not every wound heals, not every bond survives, and not every sister finds her way home. Sabrina's path reflects this same danger in another form. Her confrontation with Rich may look like victory on the surface, but victory often comes with an aftershock. Once she severs ties, she is left standing in the silence of her own choices. Fans fear she will turn that anger inward, questioning whether she is even capable of trust again. Will she isolate herself the way Karen has, or will she finally turn her rage into resolve? Episode 5 feels like her moment of truth, but whether that truth sets her free or leaves her broken is what fans cannot stop debating. Her story is a reminder that betrayal does not end when the betrayer leaves. It lingers, shaping every step forward. Fatima's secret, however, looms as the most explosive twist of all. If her pregnancy is revealed in Episode 5, it won't just shake her relationship with Zach. It will shake the entire circle. The collision of Karen's unbearable loss with Fatima's fragile hope could split the sisters down the middle. one clinging to grief, the other holding on to new life. It is a contrast so raw, so painful, that it could either force them to confront their truths together or finally drive them apart for good. Fans are bracing for that reveal because it will not be a soft moment. It will be jagged, messy, and unforgettable. The weight of life and death colliding in one circle is more than any friendship has ever endured. Danny's future is quieter, but filled with the same uncertainty. She has been trying to rise, to stand on her own, but fans know her weakness lies in the temptation to seek comfort in all the wrong places. If the group fractures completely, will she find the strength to walk her own path, or will she slip back into the arms of toxic attachments? The suspense isn't in her confrontation, it's in her silence, her hidden exhaustion, her unspoken battles. Episode 5 may not give her resolution, but it will test her resilience in ways fans have never seen before. And then there is Andi, perhaps the most dangerous storyline of all. Her fight with Hudson is no longer about choice, it's about survival. The trailer teases betrayal, shadows, and a case that could swallow her whole. If she falters, she could lose more than her career. She could lose herself. Episode 5 feels like the tipping point, where Andi realizes she cannot keep her personal life and professional battles separate. They have merged, and every move she makes now carries double the weight. Fans are left questioning who she can trust, if anyone at all. Her storyline doesn't just promise suspense, it promises sacrifice. All of these threads tie into a single terrifying truth. The sisterhood is not safe. Not from grief, not from betrayal, not from secrets, not from silence. Episode 5 doesn't hint at reunion or forgiveness. It hints at devastation. The bond that once carried them may finally snap under the pressure of everything they've hidden, everything they've lost, and everything they still refuse to say out loud. Fans watching the trailer know this much. Sistas Season 9, Episode 5 is not just another chapter. It is the breaking point, the moment the sisterhood stands on the edge of collapse. And once that edge is crossed, there is no going back.